A verdict is in. Yes, a verdict is in. 35-year-old widow and mother Kouri Richins has been found guilty just last week for slipping 5 times a lethal dose of fentanyl into her husband Eric Richins' cocktail on March 4th, 2022. And this case has it all. This case has murder, attempted murder, forgery, insurance fraud, and a hot, steamy, passionate affair with a handyman. Did Kouri Richins commit all of these crimes? Let's dive into this case right now. Wicked Wednesday, my Cajun cuties. Yes, it's me, Anne-Marie, aka the Cajun Crime Queen from Carencro, Louisiana. Cajun born, Cajun bred, and when I die, I'll be Cajun dead. I hope after this video that you like, subscribe, and comment, and don't forget to press notification bell so you never miss a video from me, Anne-Marie. And as always, thank you all for joining me on this Wicked Wednesday evening as we discuss another true crime case. How are y'all doing on this Wicked Wednesday evening? Thank y'all once again for joining me tonight. I hope y'all are all having a great night and a great week so far. I want to let all of you know that tonight is my 250th video. Yes, 250 videos already, all about crime, all about murder, all about serial killers, all about the crazy things that are going on in our world today. And I want to thank all of you for the love and support. And for you, I am truly grateful because without you, none of this would be possible. None of this. So thank y'all once again from the bottom of my heart. I also want to tell y'all that I have been following this case since 2023. And this case is wild. So fasten up y'all seatbelts, sit back, and get ready to listen to this video. Today we are discussing Kouri Richins, who was found guilty just last week for poisoning her 39-year-old husband, Eric Richins. 911 receives a phone call just after 3 a.m. on March 4th, 2022. Kouri Richins is crying. She's hysterical. She's freaking out. She tells dispatcher, "My husband isn't breathing and he's cold to the touch. What do I do? What do I do?" The dispatcher shows her how to do CPR. She's telling her exactly what to do. Kouri's trying. She doesn't know what's going on. Why would her 39-year-old husband just stop breathing? Just not be moving? What's going on? The ambulance arrives, the police arrive, EMS, the paramedics, everyone is there. And when they walk into the house, they find 39-year-old Eric Richins with absolutely no pulse. 31-year-old wife and mother Kouri Richins is extremely hysterical. She's walking around the house with her face in her hands, crying. She's watching their paramedics work on Eric, who has no pulse. The police officers follow her into the living room and she looks all confused. She's like, "What is happening? This doesn't seem right." And the officers are like, "Can you tell me a little bit what happened tonight? What's going on? Can you give me a timeline, something?" She's like, "The last thing that we did together was around 9 p.m. I fixed him a Moscow Mule. We celebrated with a big purchase." Kouri Richins had just purchased a $2.9 million mansion, a gorgeous home that she was going to remodel, flip, have an event center. She had several ideas about what she was going to do with this property, and the two were celebrating. She said, then Eric goes to bed. She goes into her son's room as he's having nightmares, and everyone falls asleep. Then Kouri says when she gets up around 3 a.m., that is when she goes into her room and finds Eric not breathing. And the officer's like, "Well, does he have any major health issues?" She's like, "No, he has Lyme disease and he takes a THC gummy at night sometimes, but no, he doesn't have any health issues, nothing major." The officer's like, "Well, does he have any drug problem?" The Kouri's like, "No." She's adamant. She's like, no, never, no drug problem. So the cops are just at a standstill. Was it an aneurysm? Was it a heart attack? Was it a stroke? What would make this 39-year-old healthy, active man just stop breathing in his sleep? So everyone was confused. And at this point, 39-year-old Eric Richins is deceased. And the sad part about this entire situation is the couple has 3 boys together, ages 9, 7, and 5. Then all of a sudden, Eric's sister Katie walks into the house and she is hysterical. You hear her screaming before you even see her face. When I watched all the videos, she is extremely upset at this point. She grabs the 3 kids, she goes upstairs, she puts them in another room, and then she comes downstairs, and she as well as Kouri are holding each other. They're hugging, they're crying, they're both hysterical. They don't know what is happening right now at this point. But police officers know that Eric Richins is no longer with us, and that right there is crazy. And everyone wanted to know what is going to happen. A 39-year-old man just doesn't pass away on his own. Kouri Jordan met Eric Richins while she was a cashier at the local Home Depot. Kouri came from a middle-class family where Eric came from a family with money. Kouri and Eric fall in love as Eric had been coming to the Home Depot. So they hit it off, they fall in love, and in 2012, Kouri becomes pregnant, and that same year they marry. However, listen to this, y'all. Listen to this. On Kouri's wedding day, before she's about to walk down the aisle, Eric's mother presents her with a prenup, saying that she has no claims to Eric's business, which is worth around $1 million. Kouri is extremely distraught. She's like, this is my wedding day. We're doing this right now. I have to sign this now. She was upset. However, like I would do the same thing, Kouri signed it. It's her wedding day. Everyone's there. She's pregnant. She's totally in love with Eric. Of course she's going to sign it. She probably didn't want to. She probably wanted to look it over with a lawyer, but no, Kouri did sign the prenup. Kouri and Eric welcome 3 boys, and at this point, they are 9, 7, and 5. They are flying here. They are flying there. Eric's business is booming at this point. They're making a good living. Kouri is happy being a stay-at-home mom. They're just living the life. However, in 2019, Kouri decides she wants more out of life. She's tired of being a stay-at-home mom, even though she was a great mother to her 3 boys. She opens up Kouri Richins Realty in 2019. And within 2 years, Kouri is managing 15 properties. So Kouri and Eric are making a good living and they're living the good life. However, was this enough for Kouri? It sounded like Kouri wanted more and more and more. This was a beautiful, loving, happy family. However, it is all shattered when Eric passes away. Then Kouri receives another bombshell. She finds out that the house isn't hers. Amy, Eric's sister, looks at Kouri and says, you know, this house isn't yours, Kouri. The house was purchased before you 2 were married. Kouri's like, what do you mean this isn't my house? I've been living here for the past 10 years. He is my husband. We have 3 boys together. This is my home. Amy says, no, it's not. And they begin screaming at each other. In 2020, Eric had secretly created an estate, and he put his 3 sons as the beneficiary of the trust and put the house in the trust and made his sister Katie in charge of everything. And get this, his wife Kouri was largely left out of the will. And I'm going to tell y'all why later on in this video. But Kouri was extremely upset and shocked. That would be a shock to any wife. Like, what? I'm finding out about all of this after my husband passes away. He did this secretly behind my back. Why would he do this? So Amy, Eric's sister, and Kouri began arguing back and forth with each other. And that is when Amy says Kouri attacked her, punched her in the face and the neck. The police is called. Kouri is arrested and charged with assault. And this was just 2 days after Eric passes away. So the 2 families still have to go to the funeral. And I'm sure you could cut the tension with a knife at the funeral. Could you imagine being at that funeral? How uncomfortable you would be knowing that these families are at each other's throats? This is a time for grieving. So I don't know what was going on at this point, but I don't know if Amy and Katie were kicking Kouri out of the house. I couldn't just kick my 3 nephews out of the house they've been knowing since they were born. I don't know if they told Katie, told Kouri, you could stay here unless you want to sell it, then the money goes to the boys, not you. I don't know what was going on. I couldn't just kick my little nephews out of their home. But I don't know the full story. I don't know what was in the will. I don't know if Kouri was supposed to sell the house right away. But this was a big, crazy, just chaotic situation. No one knew what was going to go on. And people started wondering, what happened to Eric Richins? Not even a month after Eric Richins dies, Kouri gets rid of all his clothes. She stops wearing her wedding ring, and she is trying to move on. Several people say that is way too soon. Why would she be doing that? Why would she try to move on this quick? Why would she want to get rid of everything? However, I don't think, in my personal opinion, that we have a right to judge when people grieve. People grieve in different ways. Maybe Kouri kept looking at Eric's clothes and things or her wedding ring and saying, I can't move on. I can't stop crying. I can't keep coming into this house, seeing everything. I have to get rid of everything. I have to try to move on with my life. One of my friends back in high school, she lost one of her friends that were in college. And she was like, Amber, you know what's weird? I went over there after she passed away a couple of months later and everything was gone. The parents removed all the clothes, all the pictures of their daughter, everything. They wanted everything gone because they couldn't stop crying. So people grieve in different ways. Now for me, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I'm different. If something happened to my man, I would leave everything the way it was, probably forever. If he had dirty clothes that were on the ground, his clothes in his closet, I would leave everything exactly the way they were when he passed away, because I love my man's scent. I love to smell him. At night, I tangle myself all up in him. I grab that bicep and I bury my head in it. And if he tries to just move barely, I'm like, where are you going? I'm so spoiled after him. So for me, I would want to keep everything there, but not everyone is me. People grieve in different ways. And maybe Kouri and the boys couldn't move on. So this was her way of moving on, to get rid of everything. And then Kouri files a civil lawsuit disputing the trust against Eric's sister, Katie. Kouri started to move on with her life as a single mother. And in 2023, Kouri writes a children's book all about grief. Kouri couldn't find a book that dealt with grief for her 3 sons, so she decided to write her own children's book dealing with loss, the loss of a parent. The book is called Are You With Me? And Kouri would read this book to her children at night. And it was a very, very good book if a child has lost a parent. It's like, are you with me when I scored the soccer goal? Are you this? Are you that? And it's like, it's a really good book. And Kouri started promoting this children's book all over town. Just 1 year after the passing of Eric Richins in March of 2023, Kouri Richins goes on a local radio show discussing her children's book all about grief. Then just days later, after Kouri speaks on the radio station receives an anonymous email saying in all caps, you know she killed her husband. So that was strange. Then another strange thing happens. The autopsy results come back and it shows that 39-year-old Eric Richins died from fentanyl poisoning, 5 times the lethal dose. And this wasn't medical grade fentanyl, no. This was like off the street fentanyl. So cops were wondering, where did this come from? Because remember, Kouri informed the cops that night when Eric passed away that Eric didn't do drugs. He didn't take any type of drugs. So where did this fentanyl come from? So now a criminal investigation starts. The cops go to Kouri and Eric's home. They search the home in great detail. However, they find no drugs, no fentanyl, nothing. So what happens now? And come to find out, Kouri and Eric's marriage wasn't that great. There were a lot of cracks in the marriage, especially in 2020, when Eric found out that his wife had taken out a $250,000 loan against his home, and he had no idea. Kouri never told him that she had taken out this $250 line of credit against their home. And remember, it wasn't Kouri's home. It was Eric's home. Eric purchased that property before the two were married, which I don't understand. How can you go to a bank and take out a loan against a home that you don't own. I don't know how you do that, but Kouri did in fact do it. Eric found out, which is did she just not think Eric was going to find out about this? Of course he was going to find out about this, and he did. And that is when Eric was extremely upset, and I totally understand. I would have been crazy upset as well. This is when Eric changed everything and left everything to his boys and not his wife, Kouri, because Eric said he always wanted to make sure his 3 boys were protected. Eric is extremely upset, and rightfully so. His wife took out a $250,000 loan against his home without him knowing. He visits a divorce attorney. However, he and Kouri decide to go to counseling, and they work out their marriage. When Eric passes away, Kouri is in over $4 million in debt, and she is drowning at this point. Kouri thought she was going to get this huge inheritance, but she didn't. She didn't really get that much. And remember, she had just purchased this $2.9 million mansion. Y'all, this place was gorgeous. And they did this virtual tour, how it was going to look after it was all finished. And it was beautiful. I mean, Kouri had great taste. She was going to turn this place into an event venue or a rental property, or just sell it and make millions off of it. It was going to be a great purchase. However, Kouri couldn't pay the note and lost this beautiful, luxurious home to foreclosure. Kouri was extremely upset at this time, but she couldn't pay the note. She couldn't do it. She had no money coming in. In February of 2022, on Valentine's Day, Kouri decides that she wants to surprise Eric with a sandwich from a local diner. She orders a sandwich to go, writes a Valentine's note on it, and brings the sandwich to Eric in a to-go box. Eric says he took one bite and started to feel like he was having an allergic reaction. He even used his son's EpiPen, took Benadryl, went to sleep, and told his friends, "I think Kouri tried to poison me." Now, did Kouri try to poison Eric just weeks before his death? Who knows? At this point, Eric's family is extremely upset. They are just so frustrated because they truly believe that Kouri killed their brother, their son. They are very upset, and nothing is happening. And it seems that Kouri just moving on just fine. She's going to the hair salon. She's getting extensions for $2,900, taking family photos with her kids, just learning to be a single mother, while Eric's family is still grieving, and they want to know what the heck is going on. Why is this stalling? And did Kouri really try to poison their brother just weeks before his death? Everyone wanted to get to the bottom of it, and it seems like Kouri didn't care. She was just moving on. I don't know about y'all, but I would want to know exactly what happened to my husband. This was my husband, the father of my children. But maybe Kouri was just upset because Eric had taken her out of the will. Eric's family decides they want to hire their own PI, and this PI starts investigating Eric's murder. And this PI goes through Kouri's cell phone records and finds out that Kouri has been communicating with a lady named Carmen. Carmen and Kouri know each other because Carmen cleans all of Kouri's rental properties. The PI also finds out that Carmen has a very, very checkered past. She has been arrested several times on drug charges. The cops decide they want to search Carmen's home. They get a search warrant, they go inside, they find drug paraphernalia and a handgun. And as a convicted felon, Carmen is not supposed to be in any type of possession of a handgun. So the cops bring Carmen in, and they want to talk to her. They want to know what she knows. Carmen is freaked out. She's like, "Oh my God, they're going to get me on all these charges. I got to start talking. I got to figure this out. I got to tell them everything I know." Carmen tells the police officers that she got drugs for Kouri back in February of 2022, and the drugs weren't strong enough, so she got Kouri more drugs in March of 2022, which, as we all know, is the month Eric passed away in. There were several text messages between Carmen and Kouri on February 14th, 2022, which is the day Eric says that he believes Kouri tried to poison him with the sandwich she ordered to go. There were over 30 messages that day between Carmen and Kouri. Then on February 26th, there are tons and tons of messages between Kouri and Carmen once again. Supposedly, the drugs were left. It was another person involved, would leave these drugs on one of Kouri's rental properties, then Kouri would go pick it up. Supposedly, that's how it went down. So the police had a goal, and their goal was to make sure they could connect the dots. They wanted to arrest Kouri Richins for the murder of her husband, Eric, but they couldn't figure out how they were going to do this. But Carmen is talking now, and Carmen says that she was helping Kouri get drugs. So just 14 months after Eric Richins passes away, in May of 2023, Kouri Richins is arrested and charged with Eric's murder. Now, do cops have the right person? Kouri says she did not poison her husband. She did not give her husband drugs. And do y'all know what the two main motives are for murder? Can y'all tell me? The two main motives for murder are love and money. Yes, y'all, love and money. Who would have thought? And now that I look back, of course it's love and money. What else would it be? You hear about people taking the life of their spouse because their spouse is leaving them and they love them so much they end up taking their life. Or you hear about a spouse that has a life insurance policy and that other spouse wants them dead, so they take their life to get the money. Of course it's love and money. So y'all always remember that, because I don't know why, but I didn't even know that. So love and money are the number one motives for murder. And a man named Josh comes forward. He is a handyman. He is from South Carolina. He moved to Utah to help Kouri with her rental properties. He served in the military, and oddly enough, he looks exactly like Kouri's husband, Eric. He is also a redhead. And he says that he and Kouri have been having a very steamy, passionate affair for the past year. Yes, another bombshell in this case. Kouri Richins has been seeing the handyman behind Eric's back. He says they talk daily, they text daily, they are crazy about each other, they love each other. And this man gets on the stand and he is pitiful, y'all. Absolutely pitiful. When I watched him speak on the stand, my heart just simply broke. And the cops also were investigating Kouri even more, because they had found out that she had just taken out a $100,000 life insurance policy on Eric, and Eric didn't even know she forged his name. So Kouri was doing all of this behind Eric's back without him even knowing. And Josh, Kouri's lover, was reading the text messages. He was saying how much he loved Kouri. And I watched this man, y'all, and this man, he was prime time in love with her. The jury read the text messages. He put his head down. He was crying. And his text seemed very authentic, where Kouri's seemed manipulating. She sounded very manipulative towards him, like she was leading him on. Very short text messages. Y'all, he even wrote Kouri a text messages, like put out her name, Kouri, and K for this, O for this. It was so sweet. My man, if he does that, he better put the first letter A for awesome. He'll probably put A for aggravating. I'm just joking, but you know what I mean? Like, it was so sweet that a 40-year-old man is doing this. And you can tell this man, as much as he was crying on the stand, as much as he was nervous, he was prime time in love with Kouri. And it just seemed like Kouri was using him, just simply using him. I believe Josh started pressuring Kouri to leave Eric. And Kouri would send him text messages like, I just wish Eric would go away. I just wish this. I just wish that. Kouri wanted to be with Josh, but she didn't want to give up the money. So she sends Josh a text that read, "Just give me till Friday." This was a couple of days before Eric passes away. And get this, you know what Friday was? Friday was the day that Eric passed away. So don't y'all find that very odd? And after Eric passes away, Josh and Kouri's relationship just fizzles out. They just stop seeing each other. And after all the evidence against Kouri Richins, she was found guilty on all charges just last week, and she will be sentenced on May 13th. And get this, May 13th is not just some ordinary day for Kouri Richins. No, That is Eric Richins' 44th birthday. So Kouri will be sentenced on her husband's 44th birthday, the husband that she is accused of murdering. Now, you know what the sad part about this entire situation is? These three little boys, who are just little boys at this time, they just lost their father 4 years ago, and now they lost their mother. So these three little boys don't have any parents at this time. Eric's sister has full custody of the three boys. Now, as I dug deeper into this case, I found out something very, very interesting that I want to share with y'all. Kouri Richins' mother, Lisa Darden, was under an investigation in 2006 regarding the suspicious death of her romantic lover. Yes, Kouri's mother's lover was found deceased under a suspicious overdose. She was found foaming from the mouth, and cops were looking at Lisa because Lisa was named the beneficiary to her lover's estate just months before her lover passed away. So this was very similar to Kouri's case. Now, I also want to say this. Y'all always want my opinion. And I'm going to tell y'all this. I 100% believe that Kouri Richins poisoned her husband, Eric Richins. I think she wanted to get out of the marriage. I think she thought she was going to get this $4 million inheritance. However, she didn't. She didn't. My final thought, you know, I always give y'all my final thought. And my final thought is, I am so happy that Kouri Richins was found guilty, because I believe she did take the life of her husband and the father of her three kids. And I'm hoping she is sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, because her husband's life ended. Her sons will never see their father again. They could still visit their mother in prison, but it's not the same. They lost both parents. And that's what people don't realize. When you take the life of one parent, I promise you that other parent will get caught. They will. And that parent will go to jail for the rest of their life. And that's just how it is. And people that are killing for love and money are just not right. It is not worth it. You do not have the right to take anyone's life, especially for money, for love, to get out of the marriage. Just divorce each other. Don't try to say to yourself, oh, it'll be better if the person's deceased. No, you took the life of your three little boys' father. Boys need their father, and you took that away from them. For what? For money? And money that you didn't even receive? Eric knew Kouri wasn't a good person. That's why he changed everything. In my opinion, Eric should have divorced Kouri back in 2020, but he wanted to make the marriage work for his three little boys. But he did receive justice, and he's going to get even more justice on his birthday, May 13th, 2026, when Kouri Richins is sentenced. My thoughts and prayers go out to Eric's family, especially Eric's three little boys. I hope they remember all the good memories they had with their father. I hope you liked today's video. I hope that you like, subscribe, and comment. And don't forget to press the notification bell so you never miss a video from me, Anne Marie. And as always, stay safe. Always be aware of your surroundings, and always know that I'm here for each and every one of you. I hope you all have a great week and a great weekend. I will see y'all next week with more Cajun Crime Queen videos. Thank you all for joining me on my 250th video. I hope you all enjoyed it. And as always, thank y'all for the love and support. And for you, I am truly grateful. I love each and every one of y'all, and I will see y'all later. Y'all have a good night. Bye.